It's an absolutely beautiful Sunday morning at Autobahn Country Club in Joliet, Illinois. Mid-70s, a light breeze, sunshine, and passing clouds. For those in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup, there's no attention paid to the skies. The focus is on the storm on the racetrack. The first two races of the weekend saw Aaron Lichty and Andy Smedgaard trading the lead back and forth and trading paint. But with Aaron sweeping both races so far, the intensity is ramping up to prevent him from winning the entire weekend. The rundown to Turn 1 has been wild so far, but with two races left, there's a lot to be decided on the track at Autobahn. Welcome back to GRIDLIFE Live. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Tom O'Gorman this morning for race number 3 of GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. As we begin to tackle our third race of the weekend, Tom, we've seen absolutely incredible racing so far at the front and in the mid-pack, even at the back. We get to do it all over again based on our finishing order from race number 2. What are we expecting this morning?
I think more of the same. We've seen that for the first weekend at Autobahn Country Club, this track races phenomenally in GLTC. We've had great battles in the front, 2 for 2 between two of the heavy hitters, Aaron Lichty and Andy Smedgaard. I think there are still drivers who are working their way towards the front. The guy that stands out to me is Robbie Cherry, who had qualified 13th for race number 1 and has now worked his way towards the front and will start 4th in race number 3. And then awesome battles back all the way through the field. I know I got to partake a little bit yesterday, and it was a ball, made my absolute life. But a couple of other cars to watch, I think, starting towards the back, Jeremy Boysen with some mechanical issues yesterday in race number 2. Justin Lee is back on the grid after some mechanical issues starting at the very, very back. So we're going to have action all through this field.
And Justin Kelly's S2000-powered FRS had some transmission problems yesterday. In race number 2, he was using a different car. He's got that car repaired and on the grid, so he'll be starting back in 16th position in one of the Myriad Motorsports cars. Matching liveries on those machines. They look really good, Tom. They're also pretty quick. Tiffany Kelly's been moving forward all weekend. She'll be starting in 15th for GLTC race number 3. We'll roll off here shortly and give you the grid, but this is going to be a little bit different feeling. Everyone's had a night to recharge. There's a little bit of some wild action at the front especially. Gives everyone a chance to cool down and take it. It's a whole new day, a new approach this morning. So does that change your mindset at all? It's third race of the weekend, attacking harder than yesterday? A little bit calmer than last night? What's your mindset going into this?
I don't know. I think we'll see probably a little more calculated as the weekend goes on because drivers know each other a little bit better. They know what to expect. I will say right now it's incredibly hot. And the track surface is going to be challenging. We saw longevity issues with both managing the car and some reliability things play a factor as well. So anything could happen.
So as the field rolls off for their one pace lap here, we'll roll down the grid for you. On row number 1 will be Aaron Lichty in the number 190 winning Formula K Miata. Andy Smedgaard, who led a bunch of laps yesterday but wasn't able to capture a victory. He rolls off in 2nd on the outside of that front row.
On the 2nd row, Pervez Mendelli and Robbie Cherry start side by side, both winning Formula prepared cars.
In row number 3, in 5th place, Woody Hyman's number 802, right alongside Ryan Upham, 2 very similarly looking cars in row number 3.
And Upham had a poor race number 1, so he's going to be looking for a little bit maybe of revenge to come back towards the front of his home track. On the next row, Emil Tabb and Louis Chatroop, who's always exciting to watch, start side by side on row number 4.
In row number 5, the 9th place car, the 10 of Ben Dozman in his RSX, and Jake Price in his purple, pink, and blue Miata. He rolls off in 10th.
Almost identical side by side on the next row, Luke McGrew and Eric Meadows in their very similarly prepared NC Miatas will be next.
Scott Robertson in 13th, the number 213 Miata, and Scott Bowling 722 Cayman starts in 14th.
And husband-wife Tiffany Kelly, Justin Kelly starting side by side. Again, Tiffany Kelly marching forward with mechanical issues plaguing her weekend. Justin Kelly has fallen backwards with mechanical issues plaguing his weekend, so they're both going to be looking to move forward.
Jonathan Yu in the number 200 BMW. He's had a pretty good weekend so far. He starts 17th. Edgediges Sadowskis in 18th in the 707.
Jeremy Boysen is going to be on the charge starting alongside Charlie Ensslin. We're seeing if Claptrap is on the track. I don't know that it actually is, so that might promote Andrew Work up into the 20th spot on the 10th row.
So that would move 21st place to Michael Vladeff in the number 90. John Raymond's number 131 would be 22nd. On the grid.
Domas Sinkevicius is next to start alongside Jake Jornstad, who's back in his own S2000, moving away from the Integra. They're going to start side by side on the 12th row.
We got the number 19 car lining up, a team car there, so not exactly sure which driver's in that, but then Ben Horisco rounding out the rest of the field in his number 2. Not sure if he rolled off.
No, I didn't see Ben, but I do know that Justin Lee is the last car on the grid. So his NC Miata, after more mechanical issues yesterday, is back on the track and is going to be taking the green flag.
So again, welcome to GRIDLIFE Live. My name again is Kyle Heyer, joined by Tom O'Gorman, the voices of GRIDLIFE Live this afternoon for GLTC race number 3. We've had 2 incredible races so far. The top two, Andy Smedgard and Aaron Lichty, have been battling all weekend long. It's been a dogfight at the front, swapping every corner of the racetrack, and down into turn one, it was an outside pass in race one that got it done for Smedgard. We'll see if he can repeat that for race number 3.
And I think that's happened multiple times, the battle around the outside of turn number 1 and 2. And another driver who had a really good start in race number 1, or race number 2 yesterday was Rob Cherry to get himself up towards that 4th spot. I think he came from 7th or so on the start to go up the inside of a bunch of cars and get himself that far.
If you're on a seat, find the edge of it, because I was not even using it yesterday. I'm already sitting on the edge of my seat for race number 3 as the field rolls through turn number 11. The best passing opportunity on this racetrack that we're not able to see here from the tower. But we're about 28 cars strong here for the start of GLTC race number 3 from Autobahn Country Club. The pace car looks like it's going to make the hard left-hand turn off the racetrack. Aaron Lichty is elected for driver's left as they come to the start-finish line. Double wide, about 12, 15 rows deep as they come out of turn number 15 to the start-finish line. Green flag in hand. Waiting. Green flag flies racing. And Ryan Upham got a great start to the inside. 3 wide. Up the inside. That's for second. To the inside of Smedgard down into turn number 1. He's through. Did he get the lead? He did. Wow, what a start for Upham in the 13.
And Chatroop tries to go with him. There was actually a huge bump draft from Chatroop to push Upham at the start. And I got to say, I don't think that start was very fair from Upham. He was on throttle big time before the green flag came out. But headed down towards third 4. Whoa, a big sideways moment for maybe Domas Sinkevicius in his BMW, but he collects it up, and they're down towards turn number 5 already. Look at Upham charging away from Smedgard at the front.
Aaron Lichty from the lead has already dropped back 5 or 6 spots, and maybe some trouble there. Maybe he got spooked by the 3 wide pass into 1, but Upham took that opportunity and ran with it down into the corner. Now they make their way to the far side of the course. They're going to disappear from view. We'll see how they stack up when they come out of 15 again.
And it looks like Emil Tab might have had a little bit of a choke up at turn number 6 as well. So the field is spreading out right around where that car is. Maybe call it 9th, 10th, 11th or so. But Upham with a huge charge. Again, we're going to keep our mouth shut on the start exactly, but race control will be looking hard at that one for that aggressive move before the green flag. And he's charging away with now Smedgard building a 27 car length lead over the next car on track, Louis Chatroop.
Yeah, so again, it was Ryan Upham that made that pass, and he was actually gridded in 6th place and managed to drive his way all the way up to the lead through turn number 1 and 2 and just chucked it down the inside and made it stick. But the leader's going to come out of the final corner here back into view. We'll see how things stack up. But Aaron Lichty, who was the pole sitter, has dropped way back. Upham comes out of the final corner with a 10 car length lead over Smedgard. He will lead the first lap. 2nd place, Smedgard. 3rd is Chatroop in the number 26 car. Then it's Emil Tab, Rob Manicherry, Aaron Lichty, Pervez Randelia, and Woody Hyman.
Yeah, it's a fleet of winning formula cars running 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and we haven't talked much about it, but rewards weight is in play this weekend, and that means that Aaron Lichty has peak rewards weight right now. I believe that is 150 pounds extra. Whoa, Tab with a run at the inside of Chatroop for 3rd. Chatroop got a little bit loose coming out of turn 3, and they're headed down towards turn 4 out of our sight as Tiffany Kelly retires the S2000 once more.
Big stack up out of turn number 3. It was Eric Meadows who was a little bit slow, stacked up Ben Dozman and a couple other cars behind. Now Rob Manicherry has got all sorts of teammates behind him, chomping at the bit on the rear bumper as they head into the backside of the course.
Yeah, the winning formula stable just freight trained Louis Chatroop. He went from 3rd to 7th in one charge through turns 4, 5, and 6. So those guys working their way down towards turn number 9 or turn number 8. And I believe the BMW is all the way back. He's still side by side with Pervez Randelia, but they're battling for 8th right now after he had been running 3rd with that strong start. Emil Tab is starting to break away just a little bit from Rob Manicherry, and Aaron Lichty's actually gotten his way past Manicherry. So right now, 4th, 3rd, it's Tab behind him, Lichty salvaging Manicherry next, and then Chatroop has held off Pervez Randelia, who's got his mirrors full of Woody Hyman. At the front, it is still Upham charging away from Smedgard just a little bit. They're about to pop back into view, and we'll see the gap.
We're only 2 laps into this race. There's still plenty of time for things to happen. Smedgard's been almost as fast as Lichty, maybe even faster this weekend. He's now going to chase Ryan Upham down, who's familiar with this racetrack and showing it right now with that amazing start across the line there. And Emil Tab coming up quickly from behind in 3rd. We'll see if he can close that gap. It's 3 winning formula cars, 3rd, 4th, and 5th right now as they come across the start finish.
Yeah, I'm going to say just from the gaps we've seen, I think Tab's the fastest car on the track right now. We're going to see that gap up to Smedgard shrink, I think. Smedgard also has rewards weight on that car. He's got a pair of 2nd place finishes, which means 100 pounds of ballast that are bolted into that S2000. Not helping his case, but Lichty is the one really challenged with that. Pervez Randelia now challenging Louis Chatroop down towards turn number 4. Justin Kelly's looking up the inside of Luke McGrew too, so we have battles in the bottom half of the top 10, and then there's a huge fleet of cars streaming through turn number 3 right now with Ben Ben Dozman and a fleet of them behind.
Yeah, it was actually Sadowskis that got by him down in turn number 1. They ran side by side through the first sector. Sadowskis was able to take that spot away. Dozman was offline, and at the very back there's Adam Jabay, probably with a big smile on his face, running at the tail of the field.
Only one car length between the leaders right now as they work into turn number 9. That Upham has fallen back into the clutches of Smedegard, and the more they battle, the faster Emil Tab is going to catch him.
So on the far side of the course now, and again, now you're going to see who's got the straightaway speed. Smedgard's been pretty solid into the braking zones. He's got ABS in that car, and he's been using it all weekend long to get runs on Aaron Lichty. We'll see if he can apply the same logic to Upham down in turn number 11.
And while they're out of our view, it was a move for Woody Hyman over Pervez Rendelli, and Hyman moves up to 7th. So still battles into the top 10, but now the leaders coming onto the front straight momentarily. What has happened while they've been out?
Nose to tail.
Almost side by side, nose to tail, coming through the final corner, starting lap number 4.
Smedgard's got a great run here on the back of Upham. Upham stays driver's right. Smedgard's going to go left. He's been using that outside pass. There they go, side by side off into turn number 1. Door to door for a moment. Smedgard gets re-cleared again by Upham as they come out of turn number 2. Can't hold the line. Tucks back in, though. He'll have a good run into turn number 3. Tucks back in. Maybe he'll have a run into 4.
He's got a little bit of a one, but there's not much of a braking zone down into turn number 4, so I don't think he's going to be able to slide up the inside. Look at this battle back for Lewis Chatru, Woody Hyman. Whoa, they get stacked up, and Pervez Rendelli moves left to go down into turn number 4. They're side by side, and that's for 8th.
That could have been 3 wide there for a minute. They looked like they were going to try it. Rendelli did a great job avoiding what could have potentially been a collision there. Swept back left after the 802 car swept left.
And now Hyman dives at the inside at turn number 5 and gets past Chatru, and it looks like Rendelli went with him. They're back out of our view for just a minute, but a big switch up. That's 6th, 7th, and 8th. And
Smedgard's gotten by. Smedgard's gotten the lead away from Upham on the far side of the course. So change for the lead. The yellow S2000 is out up front. A strong pass for the lead, way off in the distance, but he's gotten it done.
And they didn't lose a whole lot of time. The gap back to Tab is probably about 10 car lengths right now. Oh, Upham is slow. Upham is off pace. He's lost space on the straightaway and now is going to get easily driven past by Emil Tab. I would expect to see that BMW on the pit lane this time by.
There's some potential problems for the driver that went from 6th to 1st in 2 corners at the start of this race. He'll have to drop out and maybe assess what's wrong with that car. That'll put Smedgard out front with Emil Tab chasing him down. And Tab was a lot quicker than both the leaders the last time through. Upham's going to stay out on the racetrack. Whatever issue he had, he's got it seemingly sorted. Maybe just down on power a little bit, but Emil Tab is there, charging for 2nd.
The car looks healthy. Maybe just missed a shift on the back straight after that attack from Smedegard. So now it's Smedegard with about a 2-second lead at the front, easily driving away from Upham, who has now got his mirrors full of Emil Tab. Aaron Lichty's done a good job to stay with Emil coming up through the field, so we're going to have a heavy battle for 2nd place. Rob Cherry's not too far out of it. And then checking back just a little bit further, 6th place, Woody Hyman now being attacked by Pervez Rendelli. Justin Kelly's now climbed his way up ahead of Lewis Chatchuk as well. And then Luke McGrew hanging on just in the 10th spot.
There's Justin Lee on the outside of Andy Work down into turn number 1. Had a great battle with you yesterday, Tom. He's still having fun down there in turn number 1. But on the far side of the track, see the leaders disappear. Can Emil Tab run down Smedgard here and Ryan Upham and get by him? Running out of time here. We're about halfway through this race here, Tom. Whoa, real tight between Lee and Work as they come out of turn number 3.
On the back half of the track, it looks like there's a pretty big stack up with Emil Tab has gotten by Lichty, and Lichty's also gotten by Upham. So now 2nd place Tab, 3rd place Lichty, 4th is Upham, and he still has...
Yeah, he seems like he might have at least down on power or missing a shift or something, because he's definitely far off the pace that he was on the first couple laps. But can Tab run down Smedgard? The last time through was a 1:34.7 for Tab. It was a 1:35.5 for Smedgard. That's telling me that Tab's got the pace to get it done. He's just got to put his head down and go run him down.
And look at the fastest lap of the last laps was Aaron Lichty by another second at 33.7. So the fastest car on track right now is the 190, who's running in 3rd, working with his teammate to join up towards the lead. Here comes Rob Cherry with a run out of the final corner. He's going to look to the outside of Ryan Upham, deep on the brakes. Not going to have much overlap at turn-in, so Upham's going to hold the position once more, but he's back to 4th.
He's been taking a defensive line in the front straightaway. I think he knows that he's down on pace a little bit. Good battle for turn number 3.
Sorry, good battle for 10th right now between Lewis Chattroop and Jake Price. They're battling back and forth just behind Luke McGrew, who's clawed back up into 9th.
Woody Hyman's got 2 FRSs behind him. One of them boxer powered, the other with an S2000 part inside of it as they run him down. That would be for 6th place. So Hyman's got right behind him Justin Kelly as well as Pervez Rendelli looking to make a pass on him as they head to the far side of the course.
Waiting for the leaders to pop back into view down at turn number 8. And it looks like Smedegaard's still with about the same gap between him and Emil Tab, and no distance really changing between Tab and Lichty either. So the top three is stabilized pretty comfortably where they are. Again, 100 pounds ballast in the S2000, 150 pounds ballast in the Lichty car in third. I don't think the Tab has any ballast in his. No podiums yet on the weekend for Emil, I don't believe. So this will be his first time, but Ryan Upham continuing to cling on to fourth place with Rob Manicheri, who has a run down into turn number 11. They're going to go out of our view, but those cars may swap spots just here.
And even last time through, Emil Tab was still quicker, and it actually was his best lap the last time through, a 33.9 to Smedgaard's 34.0. So he's still chipping away at it as they come out of turn number 15. Smedgaard still leads. We're running out of time, though, for Tab to run him down, because once you get there, you got to pass him, too. That takes a lot longer. But Aaron Lichty also not closing massively on his teammate up in second. Emil Tab just ran purple with 132.9 for him. Wow. That was another 0.3 quicker than Andy Smedgaard. So the gap is still closing. It's not as much as it needs to be, though.
That's impressive. On lap 6, as hot as it is to run basically full time in qualifying. The full time was a 32.5, and he's only 0.4 off of that in this race.
Justin Kelly has come down pit lane, potential problems for the S2000 powered FRS, and Pervez Rendilia has gotten around the 802 of Woody Hyman. That would put Rendilia up in 6th, Hyman back to 7th as Justin Kelly tumbles down the order as he sits on pit lane.
Jake Price having a great race, continuing to charge. He started in the 10th spot. He dropped back a little bit, now back up to 9th and chasing down Luke McGrew for 8th. And again, the leaders kind of stabilized just a little bit, all turning personal best laps that last time through. So they're pushing hard, but the fastest car on track is still in second place, Emil Tab.
Justin Kelly has officially retired that car, pulls back into the paddock area as we look to the very far side of the track, all the way across the facility here. Smedgaard still holds a pretty sizable 12 to 15 car length lead as they exit turn number 10, make the long run down to 11 where you can stretch the legs on these cars. Both K-powered cars, the S2000, the one leading right now, the Miata, shorter wheelbase, running in second. Adam Jabay heads on in pit lane as well, so he's going to retire his car. I think he's had his fun as he comes on. And he's got Lambo doors on that car, and they're cool. So waiting for the race leaders to come back around again. About 10 minutes, 11 minutes into this race, so down to the last 2 laps potentially, we see a white flag in the air. And this right now is the final lap at Autobahn Country Club for GLTC race number 3. Smedgaard and Emil Tab come on through. Going to be a bit of a shorter race for this one as they come through turn number 1. Side by side, there's Rob Manicheri way up the inside on Upham down into turn number 1. Upham's going to hang on by a nose through turn number 1, though.
He outbraked the Miata from the outside and was able to swoop across the nose of Manicheri to hold on to 4th. So Upham is working his butt off in the BMW to hold on to that 4th spot. Manicheri gave him a little bit of room, and Upham took the gap and shut the door hard.
I've seen a lot of drivers do that. They get down into turn 1 and chop across the nose, just trying to hang on to that spot, and Upham did that to perfection there through that first corner. But for the leader, Andy Smedgaard, he's been working all weekend long, leading laps in both races just to try to get a race victory. And it looks like with half a lap left to go, he might be able to do it. Emil Tab, I didn't see him behind Smedgaard there. I wonder if they're just out of view and I just didn't catch. There is a slow car on the back straightaway I do see. Nope, Emil Tab still is there. It was a different yellow car. I think it's the Spec Miata that's out there.
Fast lap of the race was reset last time through by Andy Smedegaard while we were paying attention to the other battle for 4th. So the fastest car on track in this race is Andy Smedegaard. Emil Tab was just a little bit slower that last lap through. Slowest car in the top 3 by a little bit was Aaron Lichty, and I think that's that weight really affecting that car in the long run. We're 7 laps into an 8-lap race right now, and his car is slower by a pretty measurable margin at this point.
For Andy Smedgaard, 2 races couldn't get it done, but third time's the charm for the yellow S2000. Comes out of the final corner, checkered flag waves, and Andy Smedgaard finally gets it done at Autobahn Country Club. Emil Tab comes home 2nd place in the number 14 winning Formula car, and Aaron Lichty, it will not be a weekend sweep for him. He'll come home in 3rd in race number 3. 4th place, Ryan Upham hangs on. Rob Manicheri in 5th. Then 6th place, wow, that was across the line. 3 wide with Pervez Rendilia and Woody Hyman. And I think
they were lapping the BMW or the Mercedes 190.
The gap between Rendilia and Woody Hyman, how about 68 thousandths of a second? I'll take that any day as they come across the line. Chatroop comes on home. He'll bring that car back in 11th spot. Ben Dozman back in 12th. And here is Scott Bowling's Cayman comes on through. That'll be a 13th place position for him. Jeremy Boysen in 14th. And Jonathan Yu will round out the field here in 15th, at least up towards the front.
It's a good run for Boysen, up 5 spots from 19th for that one.
And here's Scott Robertson's Miata and Adjadidis Sadowskis, as well as, I believe, in that car. Who's in the 32 car today?
32.
Jake Jornstein.
Jake Jornstein, yep.
So he comes on through. So there's Justin Lee, as well as Andrew Work. But let's debrief that there a little bit, Tom. Race number 3, certainly a wild start to that race. Thinking back to the start, though, it seemed like an aggressive start, but once the green flag flies, you're good to go. And Upham found a hole and went.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if there's any video that we have recorded here of the front when the checkered flag came, or when the green flag came out versus when the drivers went, because it was really actually Chad Troop that had a really aggressive stance on the start. He plowed the back of Upham, and Upham kind of took the opportunity of the bump draft to go flat out. He hooked to the outside, but as far as I can tell, it was all before the green flag. And you can really see it on a video that we have here. So Upham hesitated before the green flag came out. He'd already made his move, though, and I think that that's going to be looked at pretty hard by the stewards for this race. I'm not going to make a call on myself, but I know what I would say if I were a steward. So that's going to be a little bit complicated, especially because they started to fall back again. So they did affect the race, but I don't know that we wouldn't have seen much of a different outcome had that not happened. It just made it a little more exciting. It's good for us to watch, but it's kind of tough to say because it was, again, almost rooted in Chad Troop jumping before Upham even jumped, and then the green flag comes out.
Well, watching the video, I think Chad Troop actually got into the back of Upham and gave him a shot. And I think that was Upham's decision was either get wrecked or go. And I think he just chose go and chose to take it. So,
yeah, potentially.
So our invert is going to be eight
cars.
Drivers.
Going to have
Holy cow.
Jake Price will start on the pole.
Oh, I love it.
That great charge.
I love it. I'm so excited. So race number 4 later today. Everybody that's watching right now should be watching, and if you're not watching, you should be. Because
what?
Does that make sense?
I don't know.
I don't know if it makes sense. But later today, we're going to have GLTC race number 4, and that is tentatively scheduled for 3:35 p.m. Central Time. So that's 4:35 Eastern for GLTC race number 4 for an 8-car invert. Puts Jake Price in the 02 Miata up in the front alongside Woody Hyman's number 802, and that's the car I'm going to be watching, as well as Professor Randelia. He'll have a good run down into turn number 1. So with that said, I think we got a lunch break coming up on the schedule right now, but that was something wild, I think, for sure. And
I sometimes the race 3, because of the format, gridding off of race number 2, race 3 tends to be the most prone to being a lull, and the fact that it wasn't is really good news. And we're going to invert 8 cars again. Jake Price on the pole, Woody Hyman second, Professor Randelia, Rob Cherry, who just couldn't get around Ryan Upham, now gets to start in front of Upham. Again, results under review, nothing official based on that. But Andy Smedegaard comes home. I think he's solid to say he took home that win. First win in GLTC for Andy Smedegaard in the S2000. Mealtab second, Aaron Lichty third, and that's going to mean more maximum weight for Andy Smedegaard, maximum weight for Aaron Lichty, and now the first 25 pounds being bolted into the 14 car of Emil Tab.
So with that said, we'll join you once again. I think the next session on our schedule that'll be commentated will be the time attack session after lunch at noon here Central Standard Time. And we'll be back with you at noon for Time Attack. We'll have another Time Attack session at 2:25 p.m. Central. And then, of course, GLTC race number 4 going to wrap up our weekend at 3:35 Central, 4:35 Eastern for the final race of the GLTC weekend here before we head to Mid-Ohio at the end of July, which that was the site of the first ever GRIDLIFE Touring Cup race. And going back there for the first time will be a lot of fun. My name is Kyle Heyer. We're joined by Tom O'Gorman. We'll see you later at noon.